All right, let's get started. So good afternoon once again, and welcome to GS215, which is Pre-Anatomy and Physiology. My name is Vincent Wong, and I'll be your teacher for the first part of the course. And then Professor Moran will take over starting in week number 6. Okay. I do recognize a lot of the names in the Zoom meet here. Many of you were with me last semester. So the format is actually very similar to what we did in semester 1. And for those of you who are new to my class, I will use this opportunity to explain to you what is expected of you and how the course is conducted. If you have any question at any time, please feel free to unmute and ask the question, or you can type the question in the chat box. So this is a continuation of Biology 1, the GS182 that you guys had last semester. And in terms of content, it is a lot heavier than before. In a traditional sense, the Biology 1 is 4 hours per week. Okay, so 2 classes, 2 hours each. And for this course, it is actually, if you look at the timetable, it's blocked as 3 hours per class and twice a week. So there will be substantially more content to cover compared to the previous course. So do prepare for that. So we will meet virtually on Thursdays using this Zoom link. It's the same link every week, so please make sure you save it, bookmark it, and you can just keep on using it until Moran takes over. He will give you a new link for his classes. So the first thing you need to do is to get a weekly schedule. So you can click on this button here, and it will take you to the weekly schedule. This is a little bit small to read, so I'm just going to pull out my own copy. And the weekly schedule basically tells you what we're doing each week. Okay, so there's a 14-week semester with an engagement week in between for you to have a break. And again, I'll be teaching you for the first part of the course, the first 4 lessons. There are a total of 12 lessons in the course, and it's broken down into 3 separate units. So unit 1 is lecture 1 to 4. Unit 2 would be 6 to 8, and 5 to 8. Yeah, lecture 5 to 8, and then the last unit would be lecture 9 to lecture 12. Okay, so 4 lectures per unit. And in terms of the evaluations, we would have 3 tests, 1 test for each of the unit, and the test will not be cumulative. So test 1 will only for the first 4 lecture, test 2 will be for the lecture 6 to 8 only, and then test 3 will be from lecture 10 to 12 only. And that way it's not going to be as heavy. You don't have to memorize as much content. Okay, so for my part of the course, you will have the first quiz, which is 10%, and that will be on lecture 1, and that's it. Okay, you will not be tested on lecture 1 anymore. For test 1 is only 2 to 4. Okay, so whatever is tested on the quiz will not appear on the test. And there is also going to be a lab quiz, which I'll explain more later. So 3 quizzes in total, which is going to be 30% of your final grade. 3 tests in total, that would be accounting for 60% of your grade. So 60 plus 30 is 90, and the rest of the 10% is just going to be your lab quiz. Okay, 2.5 for the first one, 2.5 for the second one, so that's 5%. And you will have your lab 3, which is going to be weigh a little bit more because there's just more content to cover in that quiz. Okay, Alex has a question: what week does the break fall on? That would be this week. Okay, so the week of June 27th. Okay, that's the engagement week. All right, so that's what it is in terms of the evaluations. The test format is the same as Bio 1. Even though if you were not with me we standardize all the quizzes across all the sessions. So you would expect the same thing, right? There would be multiple choice questions. There will be multi-select question where there are more than one correct answers. And then there will be application questions as well. Okay. So in terms of class delivery on your schedule, you can see that there are two blocks on your timetable. I mean, there are two blocks for this course. Tuesday and Thursday, 12:30 to 3:20. So the way I run the course is that on the Tuesdays, you will be doing asynchronous learning. So during asynchronous learning, you will be watching lecture recordings, and I'll show you where to find those later. So we do not meet on a live session on Tuesdays. Okay. Anytime you see this purple asynchronous learning, it means you are doing the studying yourself. You'll be watching the recordings. You'll be taking notes yourself, and you'll be working on the study guide yourself. And the Thursday is when we're gonna meet together to do this kind of live interaction. Okay, so we'll be taking up those study guides. We'll be doing practice questions for the test, and I'll be answering any questions that you might have. So today is supposed to be asynchronous, but I'm just doing a half an hour orientation, just to show you where things are, right? In case you are not familiar, in case you're new to my class. And then after we're done, then you will go ahead and watch the recordings for lecture 1. Okay, so cardiovascular system is the first topic of the course. And then we'll come back again on Thursday where we will be taking up the questions from the study guides. Does anybody have any questions so far? Everything is recorded, okay? So all the orientations, all the tutorials, they'll be recorded and you will have access to it, okay? So week 5 is our first test. We will have the synchronous session on the Tuesday instead of Thursday because I want to do a test review with you, and then you will take the test on Thursday, and then that will be it. That will be it for me. Okay, Miran will come take over starting week number 6, and how he deliver his lessons, he will let you know. Okay, I think he does not do asynchronous learning. All his sessions are synchronous. So you probably will have to come to both for the session, but like I said, he will let you know when we get closer to the transition day. Is that okay? Does anyone have any concerns or questions? Yes, the test will be available from 6 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. Okay, so if you have work or if you have to take care of your kids, that wide window should accommodate you just fine. But if there is emergency, or if you are in another country or something, feel free to email me, and we'll try to work something out. Okay, just like before the last semester, right? Once you start a quiz, you have to finish it, right? You cannot start a quiz and close the browser and come back later. The timer does not stop, so you make sure you will be uninterrupted when you do start the quiz or test. Lab is also done virtually. Yes, we do not have to go to campus for this semester. Okay, I'll explain what the labs are in a second. But in terms of the schedule, in terms of when you come to class, is everybody okay with that? Okay, great. Again, right? Last semester, the attendance was great at the beginning, and then people start to not show up. I strongly encourage you to come to the tutorial for this course, just because it's like completely different course. Okay, it's a lot more intense, a lot more information. So it would be very beneficial for you to come and have that interaction with me. Ask questions and all that. Okay. All right, so you can see there is a lab quiz here, and I'll explain what that is. But first, I want to show you where to find everything. Okay, so if you click on content, you know what? Let's do a quick poll. Let's see how many of you were with me last semester. Okay, if you had me last semester, please choose A. If you did not have me, please choose B. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have a feeling like almost 90% of you were with me last semester. So again, the format is very, very similar. And for those of you who are new, right, that's okay. I'm gonna go through where to find things for the course. So I only have Unit 1 up right now because that's the only one I'm teaching for the course. Everything else, again, Miran will upload when he takes over the course. And if you click on Unit 1, right, you will see the 4 lectures, right? The cardiovascular system, lymphatic system, immune system, and respiratory system. Okay, so this week we'll be doing the cardiovascular system, right? And you know, I will post the to-do list at the beginning of the week, right? So you know exactly what lesson you have to do. But if you don't know, you can go to the weekly schedule and you can see week 1 is cardiovascular, right? So different ways to find out what we are doing. And you will have 3 folders. There's the lecture recording folder, study resources, and supplementary reading. So if you click on the lecture recordings, you will see there is the PowerPoint slide. So you would want to download a copy of that. If you have a printer, it would be nice to print it out and, you know, take notes while you watch the recordings. While you watch the recording, it should not be a passive passive experience. Okay, you should not be just watching it like you're watching a movie. You should be actively taking notes. That's probably the best way to approach these things. They are a little bit longer compared to last semester. You know, you can see there are 5 parts here. Whereas last semester usually is like 2 or 3 parts, right? So they are substantially longer. You might not want to watch everything in one go. It's, you know, it might overload you with information. So maybe, you know, do 2 or 3 each day. But it's important to watch all of them before you come to the tutorial on Thursday. Okay, so download the PowerPoint slide and then watch the recording. I'll click on one of them just to show people who have not seen this before. So it's basically, it will take you to YouTube page. And by the way, on the first page of all the PowerPoints, you will have my email, okay? Email is the primary way for communication for me. Just send me email. I usually get back to you. If not right away, I'll get back to you within 1 day. Okay, and those of you who had me last semester can testify. Okay, I reply super quick. So if you have a problem, even if you have a question during the quiz, like you cannot like there's a glitch or whatever, right? And you need help, just send me an email and I'll get back to you. If I do not reply you for more than 1 day, that means I did not get your email. Okay, so you will have to send it again. Right, so sometimes I don't know, like maybe there's a glitch in the email system. Maybe you send it to the wrong person, or maybe it's just got lost in the shuffle. Okay, that's really unlikely, that last example. But if I don't reply to you, just send it again, and I'll get back to you for sure. Okay, so you will watch all this, and you know, there's a lot of extra notes that I'm doing in these videos. Whenever you see these, again, just treat this as if you were in class, right? Take out a piece of paper or in your notebook, you know, draw these things along with me. That way, you know, you would participate, and it keeps things interesting, right? And also, let me see if I have it in this recording. Maybe it's in the next one. Let's see. So that's part 1, and then part 2 is over here. Yeah, so there is a lot of coloring that we're going to be doing in this course, okay? So this diagram is actually from your study guide, okay? So you would need to download a copy of the study guide and print it out, hopefully, if you have a printer. And you know, you will find that diagram. Where is the diagram? The diagram is right here. And then you will fill it in together with the video, right? Okay, you probably need to get some crayons, okay, or markers. There will be a lot of colorings that we do. Like this, I mean, this looks pretty simple, but like when we get to the brain or something, like, you know, these diagrams gets really complicated really quickly. So, you know, just to show you like the brain one here, right? So there are like, you know, 20 different things, and you do want to color it and you know, label it so that, you know, you can remember what they are. Okay. So where do you get the study guide? If you go back to, again, the content folder, right? Under the lecture 1, right? We were looking at the lecture recordings, okay? And then you want to click on the study resources. So there is the study guide, right? Click on the study guide. It's obviously blank. And you know, I would encourage you to try to fill this in yourself as much as you can. And when we come together on Thursday, I will be taking it up with you. I'll be doing all these questions. Now, this is a very long study guide. So when we get to the long answer questions, I won't be able to take up all of them. Okay, so it's your responsibility to read the long answer questions and circles the one that you want me to explain during the tutorial. Okay. Sometimes people are like, oh, take up everything, but I can't. Like, I physically don't have enough time to do that. Okay. And some of them are pretty straightforward. Okay. For example, describe the function of blood vessels. That's something that you can find in the PowerPoint slide directly. Something like number 5 might require a little bit of explaining from me, from the teacher. So you know, go through them, see which one is a little bit tricky, and let me know, and we'll take it up during the tutorial. I will also be doing application questions with you. These one I will take up for sure, and those will help prepare you for answering application questions on the quiz or on the test. Does that make sense? Anybody need clarification on anything at all? Please let me know. So basically, what you have to do after we say goodbye today is you have to go download the PowerPoint. You have to watch the recordings. Okay. You have to download the study guide that I have on the screen right now, and you have to attempt the study guide. Okay, so you'll do all these before you come back on Thursday. And then on the Thursdays, like I said, right, I will basically fill this whole thing in with you. You can see this is already filled in, right? So it's a lot of writing. You definitely want to print it out if you could. If not, you know, just do this in your notebook. Yeah, that is that. Okay, let me see what else is in the folder here. In the study resources, you have some crosswords just like last semester. You can work on those. There's a self-quiz that you can do. The self-quiz are actually easier than the actual assessment that you'll be getting, but nevertheless, they are a good starting point for you to you know, have some self-assessment to see where you're at, if you understand the stuff or not. There are a collection of video resources. So if you click on it, it will take you to this thing. And it's just collection of videos I found online that are related to what we talked about in that particular week. So this week, we're learning about cardiovascular system. So you might want to see an animation on angioplasty. Then you can click on that and watch it, right? You might want to learn more about coronary bypass and so on and so forth, right? So these are just supporting material, extra materials for your use, for your reference. You will not be responsible for the contents of these video. Okay, I'm not gonna test you on things that are talked about in the video if they were not mentioned in my lecture. Okay, so just like before, only the PowerPoints, the recordings, and the tutorials will be testable materials for the test. Other things in the video and the study resources, there will be some coloring sheets. Okay, if you need, I mean, they are in the study guide, but if you want more coloring sheets, because for many students actually, that is how they learn. Okay? You know, coloring might sound childish to some people or condescending, but actually that is the best way to learn anatomy. Okay, especially when you need to figure out what parts, what the names are and their function, just like physically coloring it in, somehow it helps you remember it. Okay, so make sure you take advantage of these things. And there will also be amazing 3D models. If this was done in like a classroom, then we have all these models for you to look at and handle it for those of you who learn by touching and feeling things. But obviously this is virtual and we can't do that. So the next best thing would be for you to look at these 3D models. Okay. These can be used either on your on the computer would be the best way, I say, but it also is compatible on phone and iPads and tablets and stuff like that. So you can rotate it, right? You can have a different views, look at the different parts, and then you can click on it and it will tell you what the name is. So that is the aorta. That would be like the ventricles, and if you click on it, I think you can. No, you cannot. Not on this one, but for some of them, if you click on it, it will tell you how to pronounce the name as well. So like mitral valve or something like that. If you click on read more, it will give you more information. But again, right, this is like way more than you need to know, right? Okay, if you want to know what the mitral valve does, it's probably better if you go find it in my PowerPoints. Okay, this is just for you to look at the 3D model and be able to identify the parts. Okay, so each of the topics would have a relevant model for you to look at. If you want to look at like a real heart, there is that as well. Let's see, so it's loading. The real ones are harder to see because they're not like color coded, right? Like everything is kind of beige color-ish, and you can see this is an actual heart that was preserved with paraffin, with wax, and you can try to label it as well. Okay, so like for example, number 5, right? Number 5 is the pulmonary trunk, right? And over here, that's the aorta that we saw earlier. So again, by just playing around with these models and along with the coloring sheet, that's really going to help you remember a lot of these terms. Okay. There's also going to be the supplementary reading. We do not have a textbook in the course. You do not have to buy anything. Very, very fortunate. In that sense, you don't have to spend extra money. You spend enough to be in this program, I assume. So you can just click on the link and it will take you to the online textbook. It's actually the same one that we used last semester. Again, this is just for supportive learning. Okay. The PowerPoints I have are pretty self-contained. They are already quite comprehensive. Okay. It's only if you need extra information and you want to read a little bit more, then you can use this textbook. Okay. These extra informations will not appear on the test. So that is it in terms of how the lectures are. In terms of the lab, so there's a folder called the lab, and there are 3 labs, right? Like I said, and these are online labs. So you can click on one of them to see. And it's just a PowerPoint, okay? For example, over here, label A, B, C, D, right? So anybody know what A is? Anyone want to tell me? Any one of you who have watched the recordings already, or like you happen to know what A is? Anybody?
The aorta.
That is the aorta. Very good. Thank you. So, you will write down A is aorta, and then B would be, pulmonary artery. So you will write it all down. Okay. You either write it down on a separate piece of paper or you write it down, download this document and type it in the PowerPoint. And then you just go through the whole thing. Okay. And that's it. Okay. That is it. Okay. You do not have to hand this in. This is not worth any marks at all. Okay. This is just for your reference. You do it yourself and you keep a copy yourself. Okay. And then when it's the lab quiz time, okay, lab quiz time, then what you're going to be doing is that you will take the quiz. I'll show you what the lab quiz looks like. Assessment quiz. I'll give you a link to the quiz when it's time to do it. Oh, two of you already did the self quiz. Excellent. That is very good. Okay, so lab quiz. Let's preview the lab quiz. Start the quiz. Let me find a question that actually is going to relate to what we have been doing. No, that's not a good one. Give me a second, Alpha, because it's randomized. So I might not find it on the first go. And you're like, oh, but you're showing us all the questions. That's okay. It's not a big deal. Okay, so here, right? That's the question. There's a picture, and then it'll be like identify E, F, and G. Okay, so like you have to know what E is, what F is, and what G is, and then there's like a bunch of choices, right? So you just click the right one, and then submit it, right? So you wouldn't necessarily know the answer right away if you had not done the lab. Oh, I just lost the lab. But that lab I was showing you, the PowerPoint thing, right? You would have all the answers, right? And you would actually find this picture in the lab. And so if you have done that, you will be able to find the answers. Okay, so that is the lab quiz. And actually, the lab quiz is meant to give you free marks. Okay, because you have an hour to do it, and it's only 22 questions, so there's a lot of time. And you actually have 2 attempts, right? And only the best one will count. Right? So if you do it once and you get 70, and then the next time you do it, you get perfect, then your final score would be perfect. Okay. Many people actually get perfect on the lab quizzes because like I said, it's meant to boost your grades. And so instead of handing in lab reports like last semester, that's all you do for the labs. Okay, you do your own PowerPoint thing, and then you do these lab quizzes, and that's it. Okay. No, we did not have 2 attempts last semester. For something like this. Okay, that's all. Let's see, what else do I have to tell you? Where's my list here? No, I think I've told you everything I needed to. Is there anything else you guys want me to go through? Any other questions related to the course?
So are you going to post the lab quiz under the assessment?
Yeah, so like I mean, you cannot access it right now, right? But then when we get closer to the lab quiz,
Yeah.
I will post a link, right? And you just click on it, and it will take you directly to it. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else? Okay, well, if you think of anything else, feel free to email me between now and Thursday. But like I said, right now, supposedly you're still in class, right? But you go and watch those recordings. Don't procrastinate, okay? Don't wait until Wednesday night to watch it. Watch it now, and take some notes. And I'll see you all on Thursday, where we will take it up. Okay. Thanks a lot for coming. I will talk to you again soon. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.